They were so scared they wouldn't say anything until we showed them we were ordinary people and treated them all right. Then after a few days, they calmed down. According to Nazi propaganda, Black American soldiers in Italy were ferocious savages who mutilated Germans and showed no respect for women or the gentlemanly codes of warfare. So when those young Germans finally met the men they'd been taught to fear, some dropped to their knees in terror, only to learn they were treated better than they ever thought possible. By the fall of 1944, Black American units of the 92nd Infantry Division, the Buffalo Soldiers, were fighting their way up the Italian peninsula under 5th Army Command. Operating near the city of Lucca, they were tasked with following up the German retreat toward the Gothic Line, probing forward positions on foot because roads were blown and mountain passes were choked with rubble and mines. That's when they took their first German prisoners in this sector. One of the men who remembered those first prisoners was a military police non-commissioned officer, Sergeant Thomas Phox, serving with the 307th Military Police Detachment. He was there when some of the first German prisoners captured by Black troops in the Lucca sector were brought in, and he watched their reaction up close. Those prisoners had been fed a steady diet of race propaganda by their own officers and by the German propaganda ministry. They'd been told that Black American troops were not only incompetent, but bloodthirsty, that they cut Germans to pieces and ignored all rules of civilized, lawful warfare. So when the first of those Germans arrived in the Buffalo Soldiers sector, they were truly frightened. Sergeant Phox recalled, "They were so scared they wouldn't say anything until we showed them we were ordinary people and treated them all right. Then after a few days, they calmed down." The Black soldiers crowded around, curious to see their first Nazi prisoner. This enemy who had bombed Italian villages and mined every road and bridge, now reduced to a trembling young man who could barely stand. Meanwhile, German fear of facing Black units had real tactical consequences. Reports from the sector noted that German troops sometimes pulled out of positions once they learned Black American troops were opposite them, and that their demolition work around Lucca, every bridge blown, every choke point collapsed, was thorough, in part to slow down these forces they had been taught to fear. This episode sits at the intersection of two propaganda wars, one launched by the Nazis, painting Black Americans as monsters, and one waged at home, where many white officers questioned the combat worthiness of Black troops. Yet in the hills around Lucca, the record shows Black soldiers of the 92nd Division and attached units patrolling dangerous ground, taking casualties from mines and booby traps, maintaining contact with a retreating enemy, and upholding the laws of war toward prisoners who never expected mercy. If you've ever been told that Black units never saw real fighting in Italy, or that they were undisciplined and dangerous, remember that young German in the Lucca sector who thought he was marching to his own execution and instead met Sergeant Thomas Phox. Stories like his are missing pages of American military history, and on this channel, we're working to put those pages back where they belong. If you want to hear more of these untold stories of Black soldiers, I invite you to subscribe and stay with us as we keep uncovering the history of the men who fought, but rarely made the history books.